What's going on, everybody? We are here live to talk about West Virginia's 66-60 victory over the Drexel Dragons in today's college basketball game. A hard-fought game that West Virginia really made harder than it should have, but at the end of the day, they come out on top. Before we dig in, guys, first of all, my name is Couz.
I'm Mountaineer Paul.
And we present to you a live edition of
Couz from the Hills.
And we are going to give a quick shout out to our channel sponsor, the one and only Dutch Miller Automotive.
This episode of Hoops from the Hills is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle, and they're in stock every time.
With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for.
You can check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or you can come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
Near us, near them, near everybody.
Near them.
All right. What's up, guys? We're back for another post-game live stream to talk about, and today we finally get to talk about a victory after West Virginia dropped, four in a row, 5 in a row, whatever it was. We're here to talk about a win, thankfully. So, Paul, what's the first thing off the top of your mind about this contest?
2 role players. Well, really not. One of them's not a role player anymore. Cook, I think deserves a lot of credit. He was plus 15. WVU was plus 15 with him on the floor tonight. He was on the floor for 12 minutes. His contribution can't be overstated enough. It really was huge. You probably don't win the game without him. That's how important he was to the game. The 5 points were great, but it was really he changes shots. He's difficult to play against. He's long and lanky. He's not incredibly strong, but he has incredible shot block timing. Mm-hmm. Very similar to Sachs. And so he was the preseason Big East Player of the Year for a reason. And he's probably at around 60 or 70%, it looks to me. He's not even playing his full strength, Like there's still obviously a lot of stamina issues going on here, and they're hampering him. And then Neve, the way he played tonight was, I think, what a lot of us, when we watched the tape of him over in Israel, doing his thing and trying to project that forward to a Power 5 roster, saw. And that kid was electric tonight in so many different ways. It's not if, but when he's going to be a great player. Like I'm talking about, if he sticks around, he will eventually be an all-time great West Virginia player. My prediction. I really can see it. He reminds me of Nate Adrian in a lot of ways, the more athletic version. So, and he's really got he's got some mechanical issues with that jump shot, and it looks so much better just from the beginning of the year to now. So it's getting better, and you saw that tonight. He's actually getting lift on the shot. It's not so straight on, and he's actually getting some loft on that thing. It's obviously raises your percent chance to make the shot when you do that. So that's the biggest thing with those 2 guys. And then obviously the rest of the team, I feel like the entire team played well outside of the turnovers.
Yeah, it was a good team performance. And John Kelly brings up a great point. This is the last game this team has to play without Kerr Kriisa. His 9-game suspension is officially over. The team comes out of the 9 games with a 4-5 record. Not what you want, but you got to put it behind them.
And a tough UMass team ahead.
Yeah, tough UMass team. They got Radford coming up, and then they got to start. They still have to play Ohio State. Then they get into Big 12 play here in a couple of weeks. But
they're going to test our manhood.
Absolutely.
That's a Frank Martin team.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. And the good thing, Cook, by the time we get into Big 12 play, he should be back into full game shape, I would think. When he played 12 minutes tonight, he played 7 or 8 minutes the last game. We can expect he'll probably play 15, 16 minutes the next game, and he'll go from there. And at some point, he may be back in the starting lineup. Who knows? So we'll see about that. But yeah, the team shot the ball. I was impressed with the way they shot the ball from 3 in the first half. I didn't get to watch the whole first half. I was doing some other things, but I did get to see the end of it, and I saw, some of the stats and stuff, and heard the announcers talking about it, and got off to a slow start, and then by the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, they started making some threes, which I thought was big. I know Cook made one, Pat Sumnick made one, Seth Wilson made 3 3-pointers in this game. He finally shot the ball when he was open, for the most part.
Did you get to see his
he needs to keep
post-game?
doing? I did not.
He was so happy, Couz. Like they asked him, how much pressure was you putting on yourself? And you could tell it was a relief to him that he isn't being bashed today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These kids read social media.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, he probably watched this show. I feel bad for being critical of him sometimes because he's been so loyal.
Yeah, me too. I agree, but we have to try to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's look at the stats real quick, guys, of this game. We'll look at the team stats first, and then we'll look at the box score, individual stats. First off, with the team stats, you got 28 for 58. West Virginia was with 48.3% shooting. One of our better. I'd have to look back and see, but that might be our best performance of the year, shooting the basketball. Drexel was 26 of 62, 41.9%. West Virginia 7 of 17 from 3, 41.2%. Where Drexel was 5 of 22. They didn't shoot it well from 3. Not many free throws in this game. Wow, 3 of 5 for West Virginia, 3 of 4 for Drexel. Rebounding.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just side note on that is we were known for getting the line like top 20 in the country, I believe, going to the free throw line coming into this. So
yeah. And rebounding, we got out rebounded 38-31. That needs to be cleaned up. That shouldn't happen. Again, we gave up 15 offensive rebounds. Again, shouldn't happen. Defensive rebounding wasn't as big a deal, but we gave up way too many second chance buckets or second chance opportunities anyway. We had more assists than them by the margin of 17-9, which is something this team hadn't been doing. They passed the ball better. 5 blocks, 12 turnovers to their 17. So forcing turnovers, as I saw somebody mention in the comment section or in the chat room, was something that was big in this game. And then they actually had more points in the paint than we did, but a lot of that was because we made more threes in this game. And then largest lead, they led by 9 at one point, and we led by as many as 8. So that's the team stats. Paul, anything you want to sticks out there to you?
No, you pretty much covered that. What stuck out part,
right?
I think just thinking about the points in the paint. To me, it's really not fair when they try to say it's because Jesse is just not a typical back to the basket big. I mean, he scores that way from time to time, and we throw it into him, and they double him. He is tough to stop down there, but the guy we played tonight, that's his entire way he scores. He's just back to the basket. He's big bodied. He clears room, and he goes over his right shoulder, and he's really good at it. I just feel like Jesse is more of the pick and roll and garbage cleaning up kind of guy, and so for them to, I don't know, just because I've seen people posting he lost another head-to-head tonight, like with Soriano and then this one here. And to me, it's not really apples to apples with that. Like it's not two guys that are banging and that score the same way. So, and it's not like he didn't have his stat line's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he got out rebounded by Williams, but he still had, heck, let's just put it up. I'll just put it up for everybody to see here real quick. He still had a good game.
Mm-hmm. Williams is a tough matchup.
Yeah, he is. Williams for Drexel had 12 points, 15 boards, so he had a good night. Justin Moore had 20 points for them.
He was a pretty good player.
Then you go down to West Virginia. You look at Edwards. He still had 16 points. Not as many rebounds tonight, obviously, only 5. So he did get out rebounded. That might be what people are referring to, but he still had a good night scoring the basketball. But the team rebounded the team rebounding wasn't bad. Quinn had 6, Josiah had 5, Ofrey had 4, but they do need more from Jesse on the glass, in my opinion. And hopefully, when a Cook gets back full speed, he's going to help with that as well. His length can do nothing but help underneath the basket, in my opinion. So getting him back is going to help with that too. And let's not forget, guys, Jesse's he's still adjusting to playing man-to-man defense. He was playing that zone all the time in Syracuse, and he was under the basket pretty much all the time. Now sometimes he's getting pulled away from the basket on occasion playing that man-to-man. So that may also play a role in his rebounding numbers too. But
yeah.
But anyway, again, here's the stats. Ofrey had 5 points tonight. Josiah had 4. Quinn with 14. We mentioned Jesse was 16. Kobe had 8. Seth Wilson off the bench with 11, was 3 of 6 from 3. Also had 5 assists on the night. Kobe had 6 assists on the night, which led the team. And Quinn, like I mentioned, had 6 rebounds to lead the team. So good night overall, especially shooting the ball. If this team can continue to shoot the ball like this, we're going to have a much better chance of winning some ball games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting Kerr back, going to do nothing but help that. By the way,
yeah, the assist numbers will go up for sure. I just wanted to try to figure out what this comment meant.
Yeah, I think I know what he's saying. He's saying that a lot of people are saying they think this lawsuit is going to make the NCAA buckle on this battle thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, I think what Rick's trying to say is they have so many lawsuits out there now that are much bigger than this one that this is not even going to be their number one priority. And he might be right. I mean, they've got one out there right now that could cost them $4 billion with a B dollars. So,
well, they're 2 different things. This one here is, it's going to cost money, but the bigger side of it is it's going to make every transfer in America eligible if the injunction actually does go through. So I disagree. I think that does have their attention. They don't want that. So you know how much chaos that would cost for them if every transfer was all of a sudden available?
Mm-hmm.
How much work they wouldn't be able to keep up with that. It's thousands and thousands of thousands and thousands. It would be. I think they're monitored. I mean, maybe they. Who knows? I mean, I don't know enough about it. Unfortunately, it's a Travis Kenobi question. I probably should have reached out to him by now about that, but
yeah, I agree.
Haven't seen him around though.
Yeah, he's been really busy. He's still doing some writing for Last Word on College Football, but he's also been busy. He started his own business in addition to his his attorney work. So
yeah,
poached some players from Drexel. Yeah, their coach might end up being a candidate for our job. For those of you who don't know, Drexel's coach is actually from Morgantown, which is a very interesting story.
You can tell it meant a lot to him tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, we did need that one, James. Paul, I think you also have an update a little bit on the Naquan Tomlin situation, if I'm not mistaken. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. Do you have the tweet by chance or no?
I do not, but I can pull it up while you're talking.
Yeah, Ethan Bach. This is from him. He's naming West Virginia, Memphis, another team in McNeese as teams being mentioned for Naquan Tomlin. I'm assuming because from everything this is an outsider's point of view, but I think he still really loves Kansas State and especially Tang and those guys. So going to Kansas, I think is probably out of the question. A lot of people thought because they were on the list initially of somebody that had contacted him. I don't think he would go to the enemy. That would be like, let's say Dante Stills, something like that had happened to him. Could you ever see him going to Pitt? Because they reached out. Similar to that, he really owes Kansas State a lot, a debt of gratitude for that. He kind of plucked him out of nowhere. He was a nobody when he first, last year, maybe the year before. But anyway, West Virginia is being mentioned along like only a couple teams. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of that because there was a bevy of offers at first. But if I'm reading Bach's tweet right, and maybe I didn't, what I understood it seemed like it was West Virginia, Memphis, McNeese, and one other team that seemed to be really in the running.
I think this is a tweet you're referring to, or at least one of them.
Yes.
This should be a relatively quick recruitment for Tomlin. West Virginia will be considered after talking to a few folks. Power 6 interest across the board. WVU will look to make a big push as the team return to Cook and will return Kerr Kriisa next weekend.
And then,
Miami and Memphis are being considered as well.
Yeah, those are the ones. And McNeese.
Huh. Interesting, McNeese.
Yeah, I think they're a really good mid-major team right now.
Yeah.
This year. I don't know that, but they have been in the past.
That kind of concerns me though, because if he doesn't want to go to somebody that plays Kansas State, then that might leave us out, as an option.
Yeah, that's purely speculative on my part, Oh,
okay.
But I think going to Kansas would be too much. Gotcha. Staying in the Big 12. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a fair question to wonder, being that it looks like, he just posted earlier today, always going to be a Wildcat. That was just earlier today.
Yeah.
So,
he graduated today, actually.
Yeah, right. And so, he's got Tang shouting him out in the press conference still. Their university presidents had to make another clarification of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like he's got a grind or a beef with, like how Jose Perez might have with Josh Eilert and those guys. This is not the same, really, because with the university president. Now, maybe he wants to play Kansas State to get back at them, but it's an odd situation. I don't know. Miami is so good. It would be hard for me to believe that we're up against Miami. I'd be shocked if we beat them out, being that they're coming off a Final Four and ranked again, and returning a lot of those players. But certainly we're on the short list right there on Eden as far as Ethan's after talking to people. So, yeah. I mean, to me, that's a positive sign. And if he lands on this roster with Kerr and Raekwon coming back, I mean, we've said it several days in a row, and a Cook, it changes the season for us. I don't care what our record is. You add those I hate to say bodies, but you add those players to this team, and I mean, I'm serious. We'll be a very, very scary team. We really would be.
Agreed.
The guys that you saw play tonight would be coming off the bench. All of them. Literally. Almost all of them. You look at Kobe, he would be coming off the bench. You look at Ofri, he'd be coming off the bench. Obviously, the Cook's already coming off the bench, but if he gets back to full health, he'd probably be starting. And then Seth, who played a lot of minutes tonight. It would be wild to see that switch like that.
Yeah. I was trying to look at one of these comments. Yeah, they do need to build off this win, David. It was a big win for them. Drexel Drexel's not a great team, but they beat Villanova. I think it was a quad 3 win is what I read a couple of days ago is what it would be for them. So it helps a little bit as far as the net ranking goes. Not a lot, but some. Obviously, a net 3 loss can kill you. So it was good that they were able to get a win in that category. And yes, John Kelly, you're correct. Kerr will play at UMass, which is the next game. And all about Farrakhan. I know a lot of people talking about Farrakhan coming back. I'm not sure they won't redshirt him anyway, because I think that was their plan from the get-go, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think their plan all along was to have him available for next year.
It is, but this team, this coaching staff doesn't have a next year. If things keep going the way they are, there is no next year. Right?
I understand that, but I don't know. Would you want? It might be best. They might sit down with the young man and find out what he wants to do. I mean, because if he came here,
he's going to want to play. I'd be shocked if he didn't want to play.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I mean, he's just not eligible, so it's probably not entered his mind.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, they have said they still want to recruit for the future of the program. They don't want to just base it off of one season,
Yeah, but at this point, he's not coming back. the way things are right now. So I don't know if that changes it. I mean, this was before the season when he said all this. You know,
Right. True.
In his mind, he probably thought we were going to be 7-2, maybe 6-3 at the worst at this point.
Right.
And you sit under 500 with really bad losses on your resume.
SMU.
Yeah.
The name too.
So, you know, I think that, and not to mention, if you could add a Farrakhan to this roster with everybody else, then you're really talking about a team that could really go deep in the tournament as well. I mean, no Farrakhan is looked to be the future of this program. Most people believe that. So, and he has 2 years remaining, correct? Or knows he only had 1?
2 or 3. I'm not sure, honestly.
So that would, you know, especially if he has 2 left, then he'd still be playing next year anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know about that. But it would be exciting if it could happen.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Guys, don't forget, hit the like button. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. If you're watching this live or on the replay, that like button really helps. Also, comments help. Leave comments in the chat. If you're in the chat room now, leave comments. If you're watching it on the replay, leave a comment below. And earlier I had up the banner asking for a subscription. We need subscriptions, guys. Help us grow here at Hoops from the Hills. Don't forget about our other channels, Mountaineer Paul Talks Football and Couz's Corner. We'd like to have you over there as well. Again, to recap, West Virginia beats Drexel 66-60. Jesse Edwards had 16 points. Quinn Slazinsky had, I think, 14 points, and Seth Wilson came off the bench with 11, hitting 3 3-pointers. A Cook was able to play 12 minutes in this game, had a block, and also was able to score 5 points. And his plus-minus, meaning how effective he was when he was in the game, was plus 15. So a very, very productive 12 minutes he played in this game for the Mountaineers. Was able to give Jesse Edwards, a breather a few times. And when he was in the game, he was making an impact not only on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end, altering shots, playing good defense, getting a block, those kind of things. So he's a Cook. He's going to make a difference on this team for sure, especially as he's able to play more and more minutes.
And for those of you who need that broken down just a little bit further, plus minus is basically West Virginia was plus 15 points when he was on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's pretty damn good. You don't that falls into the elite category, which over the course of a game he would probably never stay there, but still really good. That's what you call a microwave, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Microwave player. Guy that can come off the bench and just give you big minutes.
Right.
We haven't had that in a while.
Thanks for breaking that down. Sometimes I'll take for granted that people already know what that means.
Right.
Some people may not. But yeah, so good game overall, good team win. They obviously still have a long ways to go. They've got some really tough competition coming up. Kerr Kriisa will be back the next game as they play UMass.
That'd be fun.
Then they have to play Radford. Then I think they play Ohio State. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then they go into Big 12 play. And there may be another game in there somewhere too. But
well, you said their name wrong. It's Ohio Stank.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my fault. Ohio Stank.
Listen, guys, I hate Ohio State. It's in the same category with Pitt for me. And I live in Southern Ohio. When I moved from West Virginia when I was almost to high school, and lived in Southern Ohio on and off ever since then. And I got a lot of buddies that are big Buckeye fans. And truly, they just turned me against them over the years. You can't have a conversation with them because they're Ohio State. You know, you can't even say, "Hey, we beat Syracuse today," because they probably beat Wisconsin today or whoever it is. You know.
Yeah. So
it's always been like that, and they always like to point it out to me. So I've grown a steady hatred for them over the years. True hatred.
Yeah. Yeah, I do want a great point, Curtis, and I know I've seen Kenny talking about it as well in the chat room. The West Virginia women's team this year, guys, are killing it. They're 8-0 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Kellogg has got those ladies balling. And let's not forget the impact NIL could be having on that team. They were able to retain some really good players, bring in some really good players, in Paul's last episode on his football channel, he was interviewing Stephen Ford, the COO of Country Roads Trust, and Stephen talked about how an anonymous donor donated a lot of money to Country Roads Trust specifically for the women's basketball team.
$10 million.
So that team is should be in good shape for the next few years. It'll be interesting to see how much of an impact that has on this team. And of course, got to also Coach Kellogg's doing a good job coaching them up too. And look, and let's credit Ren Baker for making that hire. That was a great hire. At least it looks to be on the surface. Ren Baker, guys, if you look back through his career as an AD at all of his stops, even at the lower levels, he's done a really good job hiring basketball coaches. I mean, phenomenal job. Almost every basketball coach he's ever hired has been successful. So,
did he hire Seth Luttrell?
He did not. Seth Luttrell was actually had already been at North Texas a year before he got there.
Okay, it was a year before. Okay.
Or at least had already been hired by the previous AD before he got there.
So he never got to hire a football coach yet. Still hasn't.
Not at that. He might have at some lower levels, but he hasn't since he's been at the FBS level. So, but anyway, but he's done a great job with basketball for sure. Football, I think he's hired some coaches at the lower level in football because he's been AD at some smaller schools before he got to be AD at North Texas. And I saw somebody say on here they couldn't find their like button on their phone. If you're watching on a phone, what you'll have to do is hit the X button in the top right corner, close out the chat room for a minute. Then you'll see the like button over on the left-hand side. You can hit it and then go right back into the chat room by hitting on the chat box. It'll take you right back into the chat room. That's all you have to do. They don't make it easy for you, for sure.
No.
And John, thank you for the reminder. They play Toledo on December 23rd as well before they play Ohio State. So I had forgotten about that one. So hopefully they got a few more wins they can get in there before they get into Big 12 play. And thankfully we'll have Kerr back. And remind me, guys, is the UMass game away or at home?
Good question.
I'll look it up right now before we get off of here, and then we'll move on.
Thanks, Big Aaron. Appreciate that, man.
Oh, thanks, buddy. It is at UMass. So it's an away game. And UMass is 5-2 right now.
And they're a basketball school, and they've had some really good teams over the years, Final Four teams. Obviously, that was when Calipari was there, but
they lost to Towson by 10.
I saw that.
They beat South
Florida. They don't have anything impressive on the resume, really.
Yeah, they don't.
Like Drexel.
But neither do we, to be fair.
Drexel did. Well, Drexel now, I think, is more impressive when people give credit. They beat a ranked Villanova team.
Yeah.
The team we just beat did.
Yeah.
I think we should have beat Virginia. Had we had a cook for that game healthy, I think we do. Obviously, this is revisionist history. I get that. Did I say that right, or am I wrong by saying that? I don't even know. I don't even know if revisionist history is what I meant. But going back and looking and say, well, if we had a cook, we would have won that game. But anyway, if we did, I feel like he's going to make a big difference, man. I think at least one of the games we barely lost would have been split.
Yeah.
Because there was two that were really close, St. John's and Virginia.
Those would be two good wins, too. UVA would probably be a quad 1 win, I would think. At least quad 2.
At least quad 2. Yeah.
In the net rankings. And those things matter at the end of the year.
I think they'll take into account our situation, but can't count on it because of who we are.
I'm not sure if they can really. And I don't know if those rankings are done by a computer, by analytics, or if there's a human element involved in it as well. I'm not exactly sure.
It's human element. Yeah, human element all the way. It's all committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, we love committees. We love getting committees and stuff together.
Yep.
So
But and you know, we've had a few people ask us to do videos about the women's team. We would love to, but there's just not enough time in the day for us to do cover the men's team, the women's team, and the football team.
It would have to get to the point to where they would be like a top 10 team in the country before I would really have to like be able to invest my time into it, and it be getting down to brass tacks worth it. Because to be honest, not a lot of people. It's a very small group of people that's going to care until they have some more marquee matchups and wins. At least that's just as a content creator, that's just how I look at it. And I watch them. I've watched 4 games, but to invest your time into it and not know about the return can be scary sometimes. And also the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, we don't know how it would mess with our channel. That's another thing.
Yeah, great point.
So just give us time on that, because if the things keep moving the way they are, it may not have a choice.
Yep. Good point.
I hope that didn't come off wrong, but
no, at the end of the day, I mean, each one of these videos take time. I mean, you have, and not only the live streams, but the pre-recorded ones, but those really take time because you have to prep, you have to do the video, you have to edit it, you have to post it, you have to do the description, the thumbnail, the whole bit. It's it's a 3 or 4 hour process sometimes.
And then market it, yeah.
To do it all. So a lot of people don't realize it. And I'm not complaining, I'm just some people don't realize it. It's probably good for people to know that.
Does anybody know how Plitzowite's doing this year in Minnesota?
I honestly haven't looked. That's a good question. After we get off here, I may Google that.
Yeah.
If somebody knows, let us know.
She was a home run hire as well, to be honest.
And she was doing well. She just I don't know if she didn't like the change in administration, or she says she wanted to move back closer to home. But I mean, I don't know.
Most people in the know believe that it's true. Yeah.
Well, the way she
I bet she kicked herself when that donation came in.
The way she left was pretty crappy, to be honest. And even members of the media were talking about it, and that don't happen a lot. I mean, she didn't even tell the team bye or nothing, man. She got on a plane and was gone the night after their. I don't think she even flew. I don't even know if she flew back to Morgantown after their conference or after their tournament.
They're 8-1. Damn.
Yeah, she's a good coach. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, she reminds me of. Goodness, I'm so tired. Her name slips my mind over LSU right now. What's her name?
Kim Mulkey.
Kim Mulkey, a little bit. Yeah, just with that, the way she is and looks and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I don't really have anything else left to talk about. Paul, do you?
No, sir.
Guys, we thank you for hopping on here today. Again, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, do all that kind of stuff. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Dutch Miller Auto, for your next time you have automotive needs. But yeah, we don't have a whole lot else to say regarding this game. Mountaineers victory 66-60 over Drexel. We look for Kerr Kriisa to come back next game. Cook's getting back into the fold. So hopefully there are brighter days ahead for Mountaineer basketball, guys. So we thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support, and we're done.